feels pretty good. I mean, it's great to be out here competing on the world stage. So I'm just happy to be here and can't wait for the semi.
What was the experience?
It's a great experience for me, running against the big dogs. You know, it's great. It's great to be out here and just excited for more.
Nobody saw this coming. In a sport dominated by fully grown men at their physical peak, a 17-year-old kid from Queensland wasn't supposed to stand out. He was supposed to survive. But when Gout Gout hit the track in Tokyo, everything changed. He didn't flinch. He didn't stumble. He exploded out of the blocks with a speed and confidence that stunned everyone watching, leaving even the veterans wondering who this fearless teenager was and how he just made it look that easy. He wasn't supposed to win. Not yet. Not against seasoned Olympians, but when the gun fired in Tokyo, the kid they called a future star instantly became Australia's present. From early on, Gout Gout was never your average high school athlete. At just 17, he already held the Australian national record in the 200 meters with a blistering 20.02 seconds, a time that would have placed him 5th at the last Olympics. But what separates him isn't just his speed, it's his composure. While many young athletes crack under the pressure of global attention, Gout approached the 2025 World Championships in Tokyo with a confidence beyond his years. In his only media appearance before the big race, he calmly stated, "I've done the work to be here. I'm going out there, having a little bit of fun and just focusing the best I can." But underneath the calm exterior was a competitor ready to make history. This wasn't just another race. Tokyo was the moment that would determine if Gout Gout could handle the heat of the world stage. It's where reputations are made or broken, with competitors like Noah Lyles, Kenneth Bednarek, and Olympic champion Letsile Tebogo looming. Even qualifying for the finals would be a monumental achievement. And while Gout had the 20th fastest time in the world this year, every runner ahead of him was at least 3 years older. Gout was sprinting not just against athletes, but against time itself. Yet this wasn't a kid who was just happy to be there. From the moment he stepped onto the track, there was a quiet fire in his eyes. He wasn't running for experience. He was running for legacy. In the heats, Gout Gout didn't just run, he cruised. With calculated ease, he placed 3rd in his heat, earning a spot in the semifinals. When asked about it, his answer was simple: "I'm chill zeroing." But make no mistake, there was nothing casual about what he was doing. He was one of the few athletes at the championships not yet legally an adult. Yet, he was moving through the rounds like a seasoned vet. Each race, his form sharpened. Each race, he edged closer to that elusive sub-20-second barrier, a time that no Australian sprinter had ever officially run before, a time that separates the elite from the legends. Gout's performance wasn't just impressive because of his age. It was the way he handled the pressure. Cool, confident, unshaken. While others might crumble under the lights of Tokyo, Gout stood tall, embodying the mindset of someone twice his age. Even veteran coaches watching from the stands remarked on his maturity and poise, noting that it's rare to see such mental toughness in someone so young. This wasn't a lucky run. This was preparation meeting opportunity, and Gout was absolutely ready for it. By the time Gout reached the semifinals, the buzz was real. Commentators were no longer calling him a prospect. They were calling him a threat. To understand the significance of Gout's performance, consider this. The last time an Australian man made it to a 200-meter final at the World Championships or Olympics was 2005. That drought looked ready to end. And while he was still up against titans of the sport, including runners who had already broken the 20-second barrier multiple times, Gout wasn't fazed. He knew what was at stake, not just a medal, but a chance to become the first Australian to ever dip under 20 seconds in a legal race. Being able to run under 20 seconds is a great achievement, Gout said. When you get under that 20 seconds, you know you can achieve more. You're up there, for sure. Let's put this in perspective. At the Paris Olympics, Letsile Tebogo won the 200-meter final with a time of 19.46. Kenneth Bednarek followed at 19.62. Noah Lyles took bronze at 19.70. Gout's 20.02 would have placed him equal fifth at 17. He may not be winning gold just yet, but he's running times that seasoned international athletes needed years to achieve. Even Usain Bolt at 17 had only run 20.13. Gout is already ahead of that pace. And just like Bolt, he has that rare blend of speed, charisma, and composure that turns fast runners into icons. Australia has waited a long time for a sprinter like this. Since the days of Cathy Freeman, no track athlete has captured the national imagination quite like Gout Gout. His presence alone is reigniting interest in Australian athletics. The Tokyo crowd might have been rooting for the local heroes, but even they couldn't ignore what was happening on the track. A 17-year-old kid was stealing the spotlight from Olympic medalists. He didn't enter the 100 meters. That wasn't the plan. His focus was entirely on the 200 meters, a strategic decision that allowed him to conserve energy and zero in on his best event. And it paid off. His blistering wind-assisted 19.84 in Perth earlier this season showed his potential. But Tokyo was about making it count on the world stage, without tailwinds, without excuses. There's something refreshingly grounded about Gout. Despite the pressure, the comparisons to legends, and the global spotlight, he remains a calm, soft-spoken teenager who just wants to run fast. "I'm not trying to put too much pressure on myself," he said, "but enough pressure where I can go out there and just run very fast." That balance of self-belief and humility is rare, and it might be the secret weapon that allows him to go further than any Australian sprinter before him. While other young athletes crumble under hype, Gout thrives in it. He's aware of the spotlight, but he doesn't chase it. He lets his feet do the talking. The final awaits, and though he enters as the underdog, Gout's presence alone is history in the making. If he breaks his national record again and dips below 20 seconds, it will mark a seismic shift in Australian sprinting. But even if he doesn't, the message is clear. Gout Gout has arrived, and the sprinting world is officially on notice. With a decade of potential ahead of him and the mindset of a seasoned pro, Gout is poised not just to run with the greats, but to become one. This isn't just a feel-good story about a teenager doing well. This is about a shift in power, a new name entering the global sprinting conversation. In an event where milliseconds matter, Gout Gout is proving that age doesn't. He's still in high school, still barely old enough to vote, and yet he's already chasing down Olympic medalists. And the most exciting part, he's just getting started. Whether he medals or not, whether he breaks 20 seconds this week or next season, one thing is certain. The era of Gout Gout has officially begun.
Yeah, I'm very excited. It's been like a long process. Like this time last year, I was at World Juniors. So coming out here in my first open outdoor season is amazing, and I'm really excited to be out there running against the best in the world.
Nobody expected a 17-year-old to arrive at the World Championships already holding a national record, but Gout Gout isn't like anyone else. Calm under pressure and fast beyond belief, the Australian sprint prodigy is stepping onto the global stage with serious momentum and something to prove. Gout Gout's road to Tokyo has been nothing short of remarkable. The 17-year-old sprint sensation first gained attention after dominating junior and state-level competitions in Australia. With blistering speed and maturity well beyond his years, he didn't just make noise, he broke records. Earlier this year, he clocked an astonishing 20.02 seconds at the Golden Spike meet in Ostrava, setting a new Australian national record in the 200 meters. Now, he's preparing to make his senior international debut at the World Athletics Championships in Tokyo. Despite being the youngest in the field, Gout enters with one of the top times recorded by any Australian ever. While many of his rivals are in their 20s, Gout remains undaunted, focused, and determined to make every round count. As he steps onto the track at Japan National Stadium, the anticipation is real. He's not just a teenager with potential anymore, he's a national record holder representing Australia on one of the biggest stages in the sport. Whether he advances to the final or not, his presence in Tokyo is already historic. And for a 17-year-old still finishing school, this is only the beginning. The world had just witnessed a glimpse of greatness. The 200-meter sprint is unforgiving. Every millisecond counts. But for Gout, 20.02 seconds was not the finish line. It was just the beginning. He had already recorded wind-assisted runs faster than this, including a jaw-dropping 19.84 seconds in Perth. Though not legal for record purposes due to the tailwind, that performance hinted at what was to come. His goal: to become the first Australian in history to officially dip below the 20-second barrier. Being able to run under 20 seconds is a great achievement, he told the media. When you get under 20, you know you can achieve more. Running 19 means you're up there for sure. Ambitious? Definitely. But unrealistic? Not even close. At these championships, Gout Gout knows exactly who he's chasing. Names like Noah Lyles, Kenneth Bednarek, and Letsile Tebogo dominate the sprinting world. Lyles, the reigning Olympic 100-meter champion and 200-meter bronze medalist, is a full decade older than Gout, but that age gap doesn't intimidate him. It inspires him. What makes Gout's debut so impressive is the context. Every finalist in the 200 meters at the Paris Olympics was at least 20 years old. 6 of them were 24 or older. Gout? He's still in high school preparing for exams while preparing to race the fastest men in the world. While many fans expected him to compete in the 100 meters too, Gout and his coaching team made a deliberate choice. They focused exclusively on the 200 meters, skipping the 100 meters at the national championships earlier this year. The reason? The 200 meter suits his strengths, especially his powerful finishing kick. The added distance gives him the time to hit top speed, where he truly shines. In his upcoming heat, Gout has avoided sprinting giants like Lyles, Bednarek, and Tebogo, who were drawn into other groups, but his race still features tough competition, including Zimbabwe's Makana Kaishe Charamba, 19.92 PB, and Jamaica's Brian Level, 19.69 PB, both of whom have broken 20 seconds this season. To reach the semifinals, he'll need to finish in the top 3 of his heat or be among the next 6 fastest overall. The pressure is real, but so is his potential. Usain Bolt knows what it takes to make the leap from junior phenom to world beater, and according to the Jamaican legend, the transition isn't always smooth, but Gout is proving to be the exception. At 17, Bolt ran 20.13 seconds. A year later, he dipped under 20 for the first time. Gout? He's already run 20.02. You do the math. There's something brewing here, a spark that could ignite into greatness. Gout has the numbers, the mindset, and now the stage. Let's put things in perspective. Had Gout run his current PB of 20.02 at the Paris Olympics, he would have finished equal 5th. That's just 0.56 seconds off the winner, Letsile Tebogo, and 0.32 seconds behind Noah Lyles. Let that sink in. A 17-year-old schoolboy was just half a second away from Olympic gold pace. And he's still developing. He hasn't even peaked. It's been a long time since Australia had a sprint star of this caliber. Not since Kathy Freeman's glory days has the nation been this invested in a track athlete. Gout is already drawing comparisons to Freeman, though he's the first to shrug off the pressure. "I'm not trying to put too much pressure on myself," he said, "just enough to go out there and run very fast." That level-headedness might be his most dangerous weapon. Off the track, there's more to Gout's story than times and medals. He was born in Ipswich, Queensland on December 29, 2007, the third of 7 children in a family of South Sudanese heritage. His parents, Bona and Monica, fled South Sudan via Egypt in 2006. Early in his life, he played competitive football, soccer, but shifted focus to sprinting around year 7 after a school carnival performance caught attention. His schooling at Ipswich Grammar has been central, simultaneously balancing being a top-tier athlete and a dedicated student. He's in year 12, preparing for his final exams even as he competes on the world's greatest stages. His coach, Di Shepherd, discovered him when he was about 12. She rapidly pulled him out of minimal training into serious sprint work. By age 14, Gout was already breaking national U16 records in both 100 meters, 10.57 seconds, and 200 meters, and winning sprint doubles in state meets. Also important, Gout has a legal 400-meter personal best, 46.20 seconds, showing his strength over longer sprints too. These broader skills help his speed endurance in the 200 meters, especially during rounds in championship meets. The semifinals are just around the corner, and while the level of competition will only intensify, Gout Gout is embracing the moment. Should he advance from his heat, he'll have a shot at competing in the semifinals on Thursday and potentially the final on Friday night. No Australian man has reached a 200-meter final at the World Championships or Olympics since Patrick Johnson back in 2005. For Gout, even progressing to the semifinals would be a historic milestone, especially at just 17 years old. But whether he makes the final or not, Gout has already made a major impact. He's not just fast for his age, he's already a national record holder. His 20.02-second run earlier this year in Ostrava isn't a hopeful sign of future greatness. It's proof he's already competing at an elite level. With a clear mindset, strong coaching, and a country rallying behind him, Gout Gout is shaping up to be Australia's most exciting sprint talent in decades. He's not chasing hype. He's building something real. He might not take home gold in Tokyo, but what he has on his side is even more powerful: momentum, vision, and years of potential ahead. At 17, Gout didn't just break a record, he's redefining what Australia can expect from its next generation of track stars.
Menya moving away from him, Morisi in the headband, a battle between these two, and Gout working so hard to get to him, and he gets there. Gout takes it by meter.
This 17-year-old kid from Australia just became the fastest teenager on the planet, and now he's about to face the world's best sprinters for the first time. While most high school seniors are worried about prom and graduation, Gout Gout is skipping class to compete at the World Athletics Championships in Tokyo. Let's back up for a second. If you haven't heard of Gout Gout yet, you're about to. This kid isn't just fast, he's rewriting the record books while juggling homework and exams. Born to Sudanese parents who moved to Australia in 2005, Gout has become the most exciting thing to happen to Australian track and field in decades. Just a few months ago in the Czech Republic, Gout lined up for his first senior race outside Australia at the Ostrava Golden Spike meet. He was competing against grown men who trained full-time while he was still attending Ipswich Grammar School. The gun went off, and Gout found himself trailing Cuba's Reinier Mena as they entered the home straight. Then something special happened. Gout unleashed a burst of speed that left everyone watching in shock. He flew past Mena and crossed the line in 20.02 seconds, breaking his own Australian record by 0.02 of a second. After the race, with reporters surrounding him, Gout kept it simple. "I feel good. New personal best, new national record in my first European race," he told them with the calm confidence of someone twice his age. But here's what makes this even more incredible. That 20.02 wasn't just a personal best. It was faster than Usain Bolt ran when he first raced at that same meet back in 2006. Bolt clocked 20.28 seconds, and we all know what happened next. 3 Olympic golds in the 200 meters and a world record that still stands today. The comparisons to Bolt aren't just about times. Watch Gout run and you'll see the same tall frame, the same smooth stride, the same way he seems to glide over the track. Even their career paths are eerily similar. Gout has already broken the same junior world records that Bolt once held. Now, Australia has officially announced their team for the World Championships in Tokyo, and Gout Gout is on it. At just 17 years old, he'll be making his senior debut on the biggest stage in track and field outside the Olympics. The announcement has sent the entire country into a frenzy. To understand just how big this is, you need to know what Gout has done to Australian athletics. Last year, nobody outside track circles had heard his name. Today, he can't leave his house without getting mobbed by fans. When he ran at a small local meet called the Stawell Gift on Easter weekend, 6,000 people showed up, double the usual crowd. He didn't even make the final, but nobody cared. Then came the Moree Plant meet in Melbourne. Gout was scheduled to run the 200 meters at Lakeside Stadium, and something unprecedented happened. 10,000 people bought tickets. It was the first sellout for a one-day athletics meet in Australia in over 20 years. People were driving from across the country just to watch a teenager run for 20 seconds. The media attention has been overwhelming. 14 Australian journalists have been given credentials for the World Championships, more than double the number who covered the last championships in Hungary. Both Channel 9 and SBS are broadcasting the event, creating an unprecedented situation where 2 major networks are covering the same athletics competition. Bruce McAvaney, Australia's legendary sports commentator, has been covering athletics for decades. When he talks about Gout, you can hear the excitement in his voice. McAvaney said this recently: "He may be 17, but I think it's possible for him to reach the 200-meter final in Tokyo, which would be an extraordinary achievement at his age. Even Usain Bolt couldn't do that." That's the thing that makes Gout so special. When Bolt went to his first Olympics as an 18-year-old in Athens 2004, he didn't even get out of his heat. Most teenage sprinters take years to develop the strength and technique to compete with the world's best. Gout is doing it while still in high school. His coach is Di Shepherd, a 60-year-old woman who used to work in the uniform shop at Gout's school. She's not a former Olympic champion or a famous track coach. She's a straight-talking disciplinarian who believes in hard work and doesn't sugarcoat anything. When reporters ask her about Gout's future, she doesn't hold back. "I'm not suggesting it. He's going to go to that level," she told Australian television earlier this year. Olympic gold. It might not be 28 Los Angeles, but definitely going to happen in 2032. That's significant because 2032 is when the Olympics come to Brisbane, Australia's 3rd largest city. The numbers back up the hype. Gout's 20.02 seconds puts him in rarefied air for a 17-year-old. He's beaten every time that Bolt ran as a junior. He holds the Australian records for under 16 athletes in both the 100 and 200 meters.